Hello YouTube friends, artist Jamari here with another Wild Roots art video. Today I wanted to do more of a face-to-face chat and share with you my tips for manifesting healing. So like I talked about in my previous video, I've read a lot of books, I've educated myself in as many ways as possible and really expanded my mind, and that's where I learned these different tips that I'll share with you today. Some of them were things that naturally came to me, but others were things that I really had to be mindful about, consider, and contemplate so that I could get the most out of their usage. These are tools that you will hear other places. I am not the only one that has this information. It's just things that I actually used on my path to healing, manifesting my miracle. Since then, I've manifested many other miracles using these same steps. And so I know that it works. I know that it works for me to share that with you. And I'm not giving you these tips for you to believe what I'm saying. It's so that you can utilize these things within your own life to manifest healing for yourself as well, or whatever you're trying to manifest. Maybe it's not healing, maybe it's love or abundance or peace or something else. Whatever you are wanting to manifest, these tips will help you. So my first tip is your belief system and an inner knowing. You know, this is not going to work if you don't believe that it will work. You have to challenge your own personal belief systems to see if you believe in something higher, if you believe in something unseen, if you believe that this is possible for yourself. Sometimes this is the hardest step because you want to believe, but your inner voice is telling you it's a bunch of crap. So your belief system, if you have not cultivated for yourself a belief that this is possible, that's where you need to start. That's what you need to work on. There are ways to change our belief systems, to challenge what we have been believing up until this point of our life, and to kind of change that if you're not in a place currently where you believe that this is possible. So the ways that I would suggest you start to change your belief system is by affirming things for yourself. Start doing affirmations. Affirmations are one of my favorite things that I've discovered in this life. It is something I've been doing 15 to 20 years. I'm not sure where I came across learning about affirmations, but as I've utilized them in different facets of my life, they have never, ever, ever failed in helping to cultivate a new belief system for myself. So in this instance, whatever it is that you are wanting to manifest for yourself, I'll use my scenario that has started this discussion. I wanted to manifest healing for myself. First of all, I had to believe that that healing was possible. I had to believe that that was even something that was a possibility. From what my reality was telling me, what the doctors, the professionals were telling me, what these other people were guiding me were telling me was that healing was not possible, that this is something that I was going to be suffering with for the rest of my life. And I just needed to get used to, living like that, basically. So believing that healing was possible was difficult in the beginning. So I would affirm, I found my path to healing. I am healed. Things along those lines. And what happens with affirmations, just a brief overview, there's a lot of information out there if you want to know more, but basically, it taps into our subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind is a part of our mind that is just observing everything. It is observing and recording. It's observing all of our interactions, our actions, how our emotions are triggered. It's just observing everything that's going on, and it's just recording those things. So whatever you have been feeding your subconscious mind up until this point, it believes. It is ingrained in there. It doesn't have any judgment of right or wrong or anything like that. It just monitors, observes what you're experiencing, and then it follows suit. It follows, okay, well, this is creating discomfort, so we're going to move away from this, or whatever it is. Your subconscious mind is observing those things and changing your behavior like behind the scenes. So the way that affirmations work is You repeat these things to yourself over and over and over again until your subconscious mind starts to believe it, because that's all it takes to start to change parts of your subconscious mind. It takes this repetitive, routine, consistent changing of the story that you're telling yourself so that that inner part of your mind starts to believe that. So you start with affirmations. With your affirmations, that will start to change those inner belief systems. And this is, the amount of time that this takes is really individualized and up to you. Sometimes these things can happen really fast. Sometimes they can take long. It depends on how ingrained the opposite belief system is within your consciousness. If it's something that's deeply ingrained that you've been believing for a really long time, it might take a little bit longer to change that belief system. But if it's something that you haven't put a lot of time or energy into cultivating, maybe it will change really fast. It's just completely up to you. So once you've done your visualization and now you have started to cultivate a new belief system for yourself, another way that you will create this inner knowing is by visualizing what it is you're trying to manifest with that new feeling. Visualization is a really powerful tool that a lot of people talk about. Now it's more widespread and more well known that visualizing has another component that is needed with it so that it can manifest things. And what that other component is a feeling. When you're visualizing, you need to be corresponding it with the feeling that you want to feel having that experience. So for me, again, I'll just use myself as the example. When I was manifesting healing, although there were times where I was sick and I had to accept that and do what was needed, I didn't live in the space where I was sick. When I would do my visualization practices, I would visualize myself healthy, happy. This is in the past. I'm living the way that I don't even remember that I had this experience. And I would feel that deep inside as I was visualizing what my experiences would be. I always wanted to travel and explore. And so I would visualize myself being completely healed and healthy and able to travel the world without worrying about any kind of health issues. That was another big thing because my vision was what was affected. So if, I didn't get my vision straight, it would have hindered me traveling alone in a lot of ways, or some of the things that I was visualizing. So you really want to feel how you're going to feel during that experience as you're visualizing that. And the affirmations, creating a new belief system combined with visualization, that will change that inner part of you knowing and believing that this, whatever it is you're wanting to manifest, is possible for you. So now you have cultivated an inner knowing, an inner belief that you know what it is that you are wanting to manifest is possible and can happen. Now it's time to get quiet and get still. What do I mean by get quiet and get still? Kind of basically what it says. This doesn't mean every minute of the day. This means you just need to give your inner voice an opportunity to let you know what direction to go. This healing or this whatever you're trying to manifest, the guidance to lead you to that is going to come from within. It's not going to be an outside experience. We think we're going to have these big road signs that say, come this way, or over here, this is the way to your dream, this is the way to your miracle, this is the way over here. And that's not how it works. This voice comes from inside. And if we don't get quiet or we don't get still, we won't hear the voice. We will miss the guidance. We will miss what our inner self is trying to lead us. So the answers are always within. And so when we allow even 5 minutes a day to just be quiet and to be still, we're giving space for that inner part to blossom and teach us what it needs to teach us. So this is another very important step. It's something that you just need to incorporate consistently and in a more routine manner into your daily life, so that you're giving that space for that inner voice. And it doesn't need to be, you could even start with like a really small amount of time, 1 minute, 5 minutes, and then work up as you cultivate this kind of practice for yourself. But it's really important to get quiet and get still so that that inner voice can tell you and guide you and give you those little insights that you need to manifest whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest. So the third tip is, as you're quiet and still, this kind of goes along. I mean, all of these tips are interconnected and interwoven, but you need to learn how to trust yourself. So getting quiet and still is a part of that process. If you're quiet and you're still and the inner voice tells you what you need to do or gives you some kind of guidance or direction or inspiration, but you don't trust yourself, you probably will not follow that. Trusting yourself is something that is so individualized. You have to cultivate this understanding for yourself. There's a lot of different ways that you could do that. You can look through your life, do some type of meditation or stilling, getting quiet and still, and look at all the times that your inner guidance directed you in the right way. You could look at the evidence in your present reality. You could look at how you've changed from the past, how you've learned from your mistakes. You could look at different examples from your own life in ways that you have trusted yourself and it worked out. You have to dig into your life to find the things that are going to allow you to trust yourself. Because this is not something I can give you. I can't just hand you trusting yourself. You have to find that within yourself. It is so worth it. Whatever you have to do to cultivate a trust for yourself, it is so worth it because you will never lose that trust. It is something that will stay with you always, and you will use that in a multitude of ways throughout your life. But if you have cultivated a belief system for yourself, you've gotten quiet and still, but you don't trust yourself, you're missing a really key component because, like I said, those answers are going to come from within. They're not going to come from some outside source. They're going to come from within you, and you have to trust yourself to know that your inner spirit, your soul, your higher self, whatever you want to call it, is directing you in the way that you need to go. It's guiding you in the direction that you need to go. So trusting yourself is very important. So my next tip, I guess number 5, I'm not really like numbering these, but if you need a number, is to be gentle with yourself. This is not something we're taught about. This is not something that we just know how to do. We're not monks up in the Himalayas, meditating every day. We're just regular people, regular human beings. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to fall off. We're going to go strong and then stop for periods of time. Life is going to happen. Maybe we'll think it's all bullshit for a period of time. I mean, there's just so many things that happen through this process that you need to be gentle with yourself. You need to be kind and loving to yourself because if you're beating yourself up or setting yourself up for these really high expectations and then not meeting those, you're just giving space for your ego, your inner critic, or whatever you call it, to come in and take over and make what's supposed to be a really good, positive experience into something that is just another struggle that you're trying to go through. That's not how this should feel. This should feel really good. This should feel like something that you want to do. This should feel like something you're excited about, that you're looking forward to. This should be something that you're playful with, that you find ways to, create joy and play within your day while you're doing these practices and cultivating these routines. All of these things are things that we could utilize within our everyday experience. They're not things we have to save only for trying to manifest things or for serious situations. Being gentle with yourself is something that you should be doing all the time. It's something that I'm consistently reminding myself to do because I have a lot of goals. I'm very ambitious. I'm a hard worker. There's a lot of things that I want to achieve in this life. I don't like to waste time, but I still have to be gentle. The only thing that I'm beating up in not being loving and gentle is myself. The only thing that is going to, have backlash or suffer because of this is myself. So these are things that I use more mindfully when I'm trying to manifest something, but I also utilize them every day in my regular life. So you can too. Being gentle goes hand in hand with loving and laughing. We live in a very stressful reality. We live in a very intense time. We live in, a space where there's always the next problem, always the next crisis, always the next thing happening. And so it's hard to cultivate kind of like a peace of mind for yourself if you're focused on all the things that are going on. Make sure you're laughing a lot. Make sure you're loving a lot. This is an intense reality, and wherever our focus is kind of where we're vibrating. Vibrational energy is something that is real. We're all just vibrational energy. And so where we're vibrating is kind of what is going to be presented to us in our physical reality. This is why I don't argue with people, because I know that whatever you believe, you're going to create evidence. You're going to create evidence of that within your physical reality. So with this, when you're trying to manifest something, you're trying to create a miracle for yourself, you kind of have to tune all of that stuff out, try to find the humor in life, cultivate a really great sense of humor if you don't have that. I don't know how you do that, but, find a sense of humor. Go find it. Go buy it. I don't know where you get that at, but you got to be able to laugh at shit. You got to be able to shrug it off. You got to be able to let it go. If I didn't have a great sense of humor, my path to healing would have been probably non-existent, because there were very frustrating things that happened continuously throughout the journey. Being told one thing from this doctor, another thing from that doctor. Being given no outcome. The outcome was to be sick forever. The answer was pills. There were just a lot of things, being a young adult and then completely dependent on other people, that if I wasn't able to laugh at those things, like I said, I would have cried myself into a different experience. Because it's hard. It's hard. You want to take it very seriously. You want to get all caught up in it. You want to take everything personally. You want to take it to your heart, but you can't. You can't. You have to find a way to let it go. You have to be able to laugh it off. You really do. And with that, you have to find the beauty in things. You have to find things that you love and focus on those things. If you're focused on all the horrible things, all the ways the world sucks, all the things that need to change, it feels overwhelming, and that is very low vibrational. So it's about changing that perspective to all the things that you love and appreciate about this reality. And these can be very small, simple things. Basically, you just need to find ways to focus on the things that you love, the things that you're grateful for, the things that you truly love in this reality. There has to be something that you love, and laugh off everything in between. That is very important. You also need to be open. You need to be open to the possibility of how this is going to unfold. Typically in life, we talk about it is all about the journey and not about the destination. I live my life by that philosophy and remind myself of that throughout a lot of different experiences that I have. But when you're trying to manifest something, it is literally the opposite of that. You need to focus on the destination, what you're trying to manifest, what you're wanting to receive, or what the outcome is, and you cannot focus on the journey at all. In your visualization process, that is what you should be focused on, the destination. Health, healing, abundance, love, peace or safety, security, whatever these things are that you're wanting to manifest for yourself, that is all that you should be focused on. with that, you're open to however your inner self or the universe creates that journey for you. You're focused on what it is you're trying to manifest for yourself, ultimately the destination. You trust yourself and you trust the universe or the great spirit or whatever you call that higher being that we call out to. You trust that it is going to lead you to whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest. So the journey is not important. You have to be open to whatever or wherever the journey takes you or where it leads you to. I said this is the opposite of what we're taught. So this is something you have to wrap your mind around. Once you can, then it's fine. But if you haven't watched those other stories, they're linked below of my journey, my medical journey. The way that I ultimately found my healing had nothing to do with my sickness. I was not going to the person who healed me for my sickness. I was going to them for something totally different, and through that found my healing. But I wasn't going in this direction and found it. I was going in a completely different direction and stumbled upon it. So this is why I say that it is so important that you're open on this journey, because the way that whatever it is will manifest might not be how you have it visualized in your mind, and you have to be open to that. You have to allow that. You have to accept that and bring it in. This thing should feel good. Whatever you're being open to should feel good. There shouldn't be resistance. You shouldn't hate it. You shouldn't not want to do it. That is not what I'm talking about being open. Being open means that you're not visualizing or putting in a box how you're going to get to this destination. You're trusting that part, and you're open to the path that it leads you to, following alignment, trusting your inner guidance system, which is your emotions. You're following those emotions, things that feel good. And through that being open and staying in alignment, it will lead you to whatever this could be. If you're looking for love, this could mean maybe your love doesn't look like what you thought that person or thing would look like. If you are wanting abundance, maybe the abundance doesn't come in the form of just cash money. Maybe it comes in all these other ways. It could come in these beautiful ways, but you have to be open to the way that it presents itself, and not putting it in a box, or else maybe it won't come. So that's the next tip. We're almost done. We're getting down to the last two. So the second to last tip that I have is to expand your mind in whatever ways you can do that. If you're a reader, read books. If you're a watcher, watch documentaries. If you like both of those things, do all of that. If you don't like to read, do audiobooks, or watch. Find a way that you love to expand your mind. That is very important. Our perspectives can become very small, especially when life isn't going the way that we want it to, or in a situation that we don't really want to be in, or whatever. When we're feeling contrast, we're feeling resistance, our perspective can get very small, and all we're focused on is what is happening right there in our direct presence. We sometimes forget the grander scheme of things. For me, something that I consistently remind myself of and always brings me some sense of peace or perspective that kind of takes my problems away is that we are floating on a giant rock in space that is always moving. Like, just that thought alone, or sometimes those visuals where it like shows the earth and it expands out and out and out and out, and we realize that we're like a speck of sand in the universe. Those type of things, I don't know, they give me this feeling of like, whew, my problems aren't that bad. That's the best way. Whew, this shit really doesn't matter. Oh my God, I can let that go. Whew, buddy, that is just not even worth my time or energy. All these feelings, when I get perspective, it just changes my internal dialogue. So expand your mind in whatever ways, and all the ways, in as many ways as you possibly can, because it will change your perspective, and it will allow, no matter what you're going through. I've gone through some very serious things where, like, very serious, where expanding my perspective is the only thing that allowed me to be able to process those things. Understanding that as serious as this feels right now, that there is so much more going on in the world, in the planet, in the universe than my problem. There's just something about it. So expanding your mind in whatever way you can is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th tip. 8 is great. I didn't even realize that I wrote 8 tips because, like I said, I didn't number them. But 8 is my lucky number. Well, one of them. And 8 is great. And it's the number of affinity. So we're working with 8. So my last tip is be inspired. Be inspired by life. Go to the shows. Go to the museums. Go walk in the park. Go to the beach. Ride in the boat. Take the trip. Do whatever you need to do to be inspired with life. Whatever you need to do. It's another individualized thing that I can't tell you how to do it. But I know when we're inspired by life, when we're grateful, we're in a higher vibrating state, and that means higher vibrating things will come to us. When we're inspired, we can see things in a different way. When we are inspired, we have hope. We're just coming from a different space, and it's easy to feel uninspired, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed and like, what's the point? It's just really easy to get caught up in a string of negative emotions. And once we're in that set of negative emotions, once we accept that, then those negative emotions just create more and more and more and more. But it's the same way with positive emotions. The same exact thing happens with positive emotions. When we're in a state of positivity, when we are grateful or loving or laughing or inspired, it creates more positive emotions. Our thoughts are creating this reality all the time. So if we're thinking positive things, we will have more positive experiences within our reality. If we're focused on negative things, the same thing happens. That's what I was talking about with whatever we believe, we will create evidence for that in our reality. So if you truly believe that you will manifest whatever it is you're manifesting, you get quiet and still to allow that inner voice to direct you in the right way. You trust yourself on this path of all the things that you're doing. You trust that you will find your way. You trust yourself. You're gentle with yourself. You give yourself love and kindness. You laugh it off. You find the sense of humor in all the things that you can. You're open to the way that this thing is going to manifest itself. You are constantly expanding your mind, and then you're inspired by your reality and your environment. These can be in small ways, just being inspired by spring, the changing of the seasons, being inspired by the consistency of the sun and the moon, finding movement in the wind, watching the leaves twirl and dance, or the trees. There's just a million ways that you could find inspiration. If you do these 8 things, your life will change. Your perspective will change. Your vibration will change. And whatever it is that you're manifesting or working towards, it will happen. I've done this with sickness. I've done this with moving to a place that I really wanted to go. I've done this with travel. I've done this with finding my love of 11 years, my partner. I've done this so many times over and over in different ways for myself. Each way was different. Each time I changed it up. Maybe I utilized these steps, but I made it funner. I made it a game, or I created, oh shucks, something within my routine of this that made it something that I looked forward to and I wanted to do. And before I knew it, I was living the experience that had once been a thought. The most recent thing I did it with was a home, with my career. You can do it with so many things. It's not just tailored to one experience. Once you start to create these or cultivate these practices within your daily life, your life will change. And it's fun to challenge yourself, to prove it to yourself. All the books I read, all the people that I spoke to, all the things that I experienced, like traditional Native American experiences and psychic people and talking to all these different people, I still had to prove to myself that it was real and that it worked. We have to prove it to ourselves so that we can trust ourselves. So I'm giving you these tips, not for you to believe me, but for you to take this information and use it in your life and manifest your dreams and cultivate something for yourself. Try it out. Tweak it. Make it work for you. These are just, like I said, overviews of behaviors and things that you can start to do that will definitely change your reality. They will change your belief system. They will change your vibration. But don't take my word for it. Prove it to yourself. Stay hydrated. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you took something away from it that you're ready to try in your own life. I hope that you were inspired in some way. I hope you feel confident in the fact that you can do this and you can use these tools for yourself. You can change situations maybe where you're not happy, or you can manifest things that right now seem like miracles. You can change your life. You have that power to change your life. You're in control. You have the power. They want you to believe that you don't. They want you to believe you're at the mercy of all this crap. They want you to stay scared. They want you to stay stuck, but you don't have to. You are a strong person. You have many, many gifts. You deserve all that you want in life. You are worth all your dreams. You deserve it. So let's get to it. Let me know what you're going to manifest, what you're going to try these tips out with at the bottom in the comments. If you've already used some of these, let's hear how they worked for you. I love all that information. If this video or any of my videos have helped you in any way, please like them and subscribe to my channel. It really helps inspire me as a creative to continue to share my story and share whatever advice that I have. Wishing you a beautiful day, and until next time, peace and love.